Hey everybody, welcome to the Interior Wellness Festival wrap-up live video, and we are so excited to be here and have you join us. Some of you are watching live and some of you will be watching this after, and some of you who are watching it might watch it a couple times because we're going to share some really valuable tips with you. We're just getting set up, and I want to welcome our special guests that we have so far after, and some of you who are watching it might watch it a couple times because we're going to share some really valuable tips with you. I'm going to pause that. The live stream video up at the same time that we're recording, so you might have just heard me twice.
Oh, technology.
Technology! That's crazy. So there's this really cool thing for those of you who are watching in YouTube. Over to the right-hand side, I'm not sure which is your right anymore. There's a chat, and you can actually post in there. So if you are here with us, post in the chat a little hello, and also we'll be watching the Facebook link. So where I posted the link in Facebook, you can also chime in there and just say hi and that you're here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat and we will be sure to get to them.
Nice.
So let's start with a little introduction. My name is Elizabeth, and I am the founder and creator of the Interior Wellness Festival. This was our 8th year, and it was, I know I say this every year, but it was truly my favorite year. It was a magical, wonderful experience, and I'm still glowing from it. It was wonderful, and so excited to share our insights with you guys, and excited to have these amazing women as we chat about what we learned. So let's pass it over to Marilyn, and you can just introduce yourself and tell us what you did at the event.
Hi. I was in a booth that we call the Sacred Moon Emergence for Women, and we were there letting people know about a women's festival that we're creating for next summer, and at the end of August, last weekend in August before the long weekend, and it's scheduled to be our first annual is our vision, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, so I'm the visionary and the founder of this festival, and we're just really excited to let people know about it. We're out on the Fraser River area near Boston Bar. Upriver from that is the Nahatlatch River, beautiful river. And the site is gorgeous. The focus is being on the land, being in sisterhood, and really playing with our authentic selves, diving deep if you want to, having fun, celebrating, being in ceremony. That's a way to really pull all that together. So that's what I was sharing at the festival.
That sounds amazing, Marilyn. That sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And we just had really great feedback, connections, people wanting to volunteer. And so, yeah, it was way more than we expected. And we were thrilled, had a great time. So, yeah, that's me.
That's so great. I'm glad you had a good time and got lots of interest from a lot of women. It sounds like a wonderful, wonderful weekend. You said that was the long weekend in August?
The last weekend in August.
Aha, last weekend. Perfect. I'll put that on my calendar.
Lovely. I love that.
So my name is Deanna Deacon, and I had the privilege of hosting 2 workshops at the festival this weekend, and they were phenomenal. I had such a great time with everyone who came. I am a holistic health and lifestyle coach. So in both of the workshops, we work together as a group as well as individually to create these beautiful personalized toolkits about how our body speaks to us in all sorts of mental and emotional situations, how our body shows up when we feel stress in different areas. So it was called Primary Foods Beyond Nutrition. And the whole focus was really how to nourish your body outside of the food that you're eating. So acknowledging your spirituality, your relationships, physical activity, and having that passion and purpose in your life, that's really what is contributing to your overall health, first and foremost, before food. So we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And as someone who hosted a workshop, I definitely took advantage of attending other workshops afterwards. And I know after my first workshop, going to chakra dance was a phenomenal experience. I got completely out of my mind and into my body, and everything just moved.
Lovely.
Very cool. I love that you say, Deanna, that you went to a workshop. There's something really magical happens when you're part of an event, either as a presenter or as an attendee, just taking in the workshops. And sometimes those merge. And when you're taking in workshops, that your spirit gets stirred, your it's opened, your heart gets awakened. So many things happen, and it can feel like a big. And after it's over, I don't know if you guys have this or if anybody else watching might, after it's over, it almost feels like a little down. So much. And then sometimes there's a little bit of quietness. And I think that's a really natural process.
Mm-hmm.
Expansion and contraction, to be opened so much. And then it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's that side a little bit. Internal and take in what you've learned. Do either of you have anything to speak about that on?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because this call is about that. And I guess the piece for me that's really helpful. I like that you mentioned about just going inside, going internally. And so one of the things that helps me is to look at sort of what were the pieces that really did inspire me. You know, was it being around other people who are also searching and into the wellness interest? Was it, being in the dance or in the new information? Like, what were the pieces that really did sort of fill your heart? And so looking then at, well, if I can't, I mean, sometimes you can just attend something that person was presenting. I know a woman in the next booth heard the drums and went, oh my gosh, when I was in high school, I played the drums in the marching band and I'm going to start going to the drum group. And so it totally inspired her. So that's possible to think about how you continue that way. But another way is to look at what was the essence of the piece that really spoke to me, or the pieces, and then say it was the dance. So then how can you bring that element into your life if you can't actually attend, say, an extended workshop or something like that? So that's one way that I look to kind of bring that back into my life, even though it's natural to, have that dip, have that let down for that internalizing. So yeah, I wanted to share that piece for sure.
I think that's so beautiful, and it's so important to take a piece of your experience and find a way that you can incorporate that into your life as often as possible without necessarily having to have that specific surrounding and those people or that person guiding you through it. Mm-hmm. Just understanding the experience that you had and how you can bring more of that forward in your life. Thank you, Marilyn.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing some more people jumping on, so thank you everyone who's watching live. And if you want to make some comments, I don't know which side it's on, but feel free to post your comments in or just say hi, let us know that you're here. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little chat bar. So I'm here with Marilyn Puff and Deanna Deacon, and we're chatting about our experiences of the event and how to take those experiences in deeper. So want to add anything else to what we were just talking about?
I do. One thing that I found, because I'm an avid festival and conference goer, I find that they just fill me up so much, and it's such a nice pause in normal life to go and just be surrounded by like-minded people who are just completely lifting you up and just raising the bar and expanding you and breaking you open and teaching you and moving, and I just love it so much. So one thing that I've noticed is, how you often, you have your delegate bag and you go and you get all these beautiful flyers and all this information from people. At the time you think, oh, this is beautiful, I love this, I'm going to do so much with this, I'm going to email her and ask her about this, or whatever it might be. I always designate time about 2 weeks after an event to pull out all of those pieces of information and go through them again. and ask myself, what was it about this person or this experience that compelled me to take this information home? What can I do to continue a conversation with this person, or what was it about our conversation that I so badly want to bring back in? And I do this about 2 weeks after, so that I do have a chance to have that dip. I have a chance to get back into normal life, because chances are I've left things behind over the weekend. And it brings me back to the experience that I had there, and allows my heart to fill back up, because I get to bring myself, not physically, but emotionally and mentally, back to that place. So I'd highly recommend doing that in about a week's time.
I love that idea. Anything that we can do to bring ourselves back to that feeling of inspiration and elation and excitement, but in a more grounded way, because you're just on your own and you're going through it. And people, Leah is here. Hi, Leah. Thanks for joining us. She just said she needed a little downtime in the chat bar. So I love hearing that. I needed some. It's Thursday and I'm like just emerging. So I love Deanna's idea. I have another wonderful idea I'd love to share with you guys. And that is writing. I'm sure lots of you maybe already write, or some of you haven't written in a long time. Technique that they've done studies on, and it's scientifically provable. When we learn something, it goes in one ear and out the other. Have you had that experience? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So what you need to do to deepen your learning, one simple thing is write it down. So if you have an epiphany or an aha right after a workshop, write it down. Afterwards, you can go back and look at it, or don't even look at it, but the next day, again, just think, what were these top 3 things that I learned from maybe each workshop that I went to? So some of you watching right now might even be getting your journal out and going, oh, what did I learn? A week later, again, the things that you remembered that you learned. And this seems kind of like a school-ish way to do it. It doesn't seem very, what's the word, like intuitive or whatever. Like, it seems like do your writing project, but I tell you, it's really valuable, and it's something that I've used when I've gone to conferences and festivals, and right away I write, and then the next day I write. One time I went to a really powerful speaker, and every day for 30 days I wrote the things that I remembered from what she said down. It was actually Lisa Nichols. Integrated it into my life in such a deep way. The tip is get out a journal, and then after you've written it, if you share it with somebody, amazing event, thing I learned, it's a way of getting it past your brain and into yourself, into your body. If you are also brave enough to, in the chat there beside us, write down, what was the top thing that you learned or the insights you gained? So at any point during this call, you can write them down. For those of you who are watching after, in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, you can write down what were the learned or the insights that you gained, the benefits that you have now in your life. The more you write, the more you share, the deeper your learning will go.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's get brave and share what we learned. And
well, I know,
Marilyn, maybe now tips that you have for deepening our learning.
Well, I wanted to just speak, Deanna, to your comments about, sometimes being broken open, because I could really relate to that. And also to, making those calls and connecting back in with the people that you felt you had connected with. And so I just wanted to tell a little story about this, because I was really inspired. I'm a counselor, so one of my, the women I'm working with said that she had actually emailed Gabor Mate. And I'm not sure if you know Gabor Mate, but he's just this amazing advocate for women and our health. And so he emails her back, and she actually thought she was emailing, but something went through to his texting, and he's like texting back to her. And then he says, so call me in December and we'll talk. And I just thought, that's so wonderful, because sometimes, I do feel a little intimidated to call people back, think, well, who am I, or something like that. And just letting that go completely. It's like, just do it, magic happens. So I just wanted to add that little piece to what you'd said, Deanna, because it was just a great idea.
I totally agree. I think that when we're in the moment, in the experience of the conference or festival, you're energetically connected to these individuals for a reason. And so, like you said, you go home and maybe you think, oh, who am I to call or to email? But there was a connection for a reason. And so to hold back on that is just holding back on yourself and holding back on connecting with that person. Perhaps there's something that you can do for them, or there's a way that you can serve each other. So yeah, no, I agree. Just let go of that ego and just make it happen.
That's great.
Yeah, if there
So
were
I see
speakers
Stephanie
that inspire you, definitely reach out to those speakers. And Stephanie Banks, welcome.
Hi, thanks. Can you hear me?
For those of you, I see we have a few more viewers now. For those of you who are just joining us, we are chatting about our insights and learning from the Interior Wellness Festival that just happened last weekend. And we have Marilyn Puff, Deanna Deacon, and Stephanie Banks that's just joined us. So thank you everybody for your comments as well in the chat. I hope I'm pointing in the right direction in the chat, one side or the other. We want to hear from you guys. So let's welcome Stephanie. You missed out on this part with us, but we shared what we offered at the event. So maybe Stephanie, you can tell us what workshops you offered and what you were up to there.
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say hello to everyone. Hi, ladies, and hi, listeners. It was such an amazing weekend. I'd like to start with that and just say, for me personally, it was another huge transformation in my own life, in my life as a community member, as my life as a speaker, as a teacher, as a student. It was just an amazing weekend. My workshops were geared to really test people's faith in their connection and our connection to the non-physical realm. I channel a group of beings known as Solomon, and they represent a collective that comes, well, they don't come from anywhere, they're just always there. I guess we come to them in our seeking of knowledge and wisdom and guidance and support. And I brought our guides to the audiences that came to my workshops through the verbal means. So essentially I'm channeling verbally to the group, and the group then had the opportunity to ask questions that were either pertinent to themselves or to the collective, or both. And in that experience, people really have the one-on-one connection to our guides and our teachers that are there with us all the time. And my hope is that people will leave the workshop feeling better. I feel that they did. I feel that everybody that came really left a changed person in some way for the better. And it was just so uplifting for me and so motivational to keep going, because sometimes I question what I'm doing, just like we all do. And I question whether or not I'm going to be perceived as being woo-woo, as Michelle Morrison would say. But I'm realizing that the more woo-woo I am, the more I'm surrounded by amazing, amazing, amazing people. So it was just a really great thing for me to come out and talk to people in this way in a group setting, and really challenge myself to test my own faith in our community and my fellow residents of Kamloops and surrounding area. And then the thing that I was most excited about this weekend was my last workshop on Sunday, where I didn't channel. It was just me and the people that came to my workshops, and I was focusing on the importance of developing and maintaining a spiritual practice. And I think that as we enter into, well, as we move through this time right now that we're going through of transformation, of change, of shift, it's imperative to develop some sort of spiritual practice. And I talked about how to do that, how to incorporate it into our lives without changing our schedule a lot. It's going to require a little bit of change, but it can be really done with small baby steps, and then over the course of time, by practicing your spiritual practice, by incorporating your soul on a more regular basis in your decision making, and in your allowing your soul to sort of take charge and lead your way, you'll start seeing the difference in your life. So that's essentially what I did. It was great weekend.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Thank
for
you.
sharing
We were
that.
chatting also about some things that you recommend maybe to do for yourself, and tips that home now, and how to deepen your learning, how to hold on to your insight. National weekend like we've just had. So around now, back to other speakers, or Stephanie, if you want to add, like, what's something that you would recommend everybody do this week to take care of themselves and deepen their learning?
Well, I was kind of reading between the lines there. There's a bit of a, we're not catching everything that you're saying. So first of all, to everyone who's listening to these things, we're really just kind of getting our feet off the ground, right, Elizabeth, with figuring out how to get all of us on at the same time and be able to share and learn with everybody. So we're still sort of ironing out the technical difficulties, but we'll get there. So what I got out of the little bit that Elizabeth just said was about how do we do that, really? Like, maybe just elaborate on what I was just talking about in regards to a spiritual practice. The first thing to do is to recognize the importance, in my opinion. Why is it important to have a spiritual practice? What is a spiritual practice? Well, just in brief, a spiritual practice is anything that you do that keeps you in alignment with that higher self, that part of you that is always connected, that soul aspect, that loving part of you. And we all know what that is. We're not all novices here that are listening to this show. So then from there, once you acknowledge the importance, it's about figuring out ways to incorporate into your everyday life an opportunity to sit with yourself, to be present with yourself, to have an opportunity to give gratitude and thanks for the things that you have in your life. I think that this is imperative. I know for me it was life-changing, and I didn't realize that something so small, seemingly so small, could really make the biggest changes. So really taking the time to give you gratitudes in the morning, and then to just sit in peace and quiet, not sipping on your coffee, not doing anything, literally just sitting with your eyes closed and really trying to just reel yourself in from those external thoughts. And then what you'll find just from doing that one small thing once a day, 10 minutes a day, and honestly, that's all I do sometimes. It's all I do. I don't do anything else throughout the day where I'm in that kind of presence where it's just me. But when I do that, my days run smooth. When there are hiccups, I can manage them, I can handle them. I'm just in tune with the world around me to such a degree that things just line up the way they should. And when they seem to be challenging, they're just a lot more easier to deal with. So I think by taking an opportunity to sit with yourself, by incorporating more of the things that you love to do on a regular basis so that you feel happy and joyful and passionate in your life, you'll start seeing some tremendous changes within the actual real manifestations that come your way. Do you ladies agree?
I totally agree. And I love what you said about meditating, and how sometimes perhaps you only meditate for 10 minutes. I think that so many people who this is new for them, they have this idea that it needs to be this big grand experience every time that happens for them. And they get discouraged or disempowered because they don't have that experience, and they think that it needs to progress and be 20 minutes and an hour and 2 hours and a whole day. So I just love that you mentioned that. It is what it is for you at that time, whatever you need.
Exactly, and that's really what it is. And Marilyn, like, I know you have a different take on things, but in some things, but I know that you're right on board with this particular topic, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I was thinking about that for myself, because some mornings I'll actually be quiet, but other mornings I will really enjoy just reading some inspirational pieces, or a book, or things like that, and then that's what will kind of guide my thoughts for a little while. So I find that really helpful. Another thing that I like to do is I love singing, and so yeah, I will just notice what, sometimes there'll be a mantra that will come to me, or sometimes the last song you've heard will still be in your head, but it's those words that are there that really had caught you for a reason. And so they really do mean something to you. And so that even is a way that I will sometimes just center myself by consciously singing that piece of that song. And so those are a couple of the things that I like to do as well for that morning centering kind of piece.
Thank you everyone for being here. I just want to welcome Michelle Morrison. She's just joined us. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for coming.
Michelle.
Hi, good evening.
And I apologize to everybody for any technical glitches. Sometimes the internet is a little bit slow.
No worries.
I just want to welcome anybody who's joined us recently. We have a bunch, which is so exciting. These videos are available after, but knowing that there's people actually watching us right now and benefiting, it's wonderful. So thank you everybody who's here watching. And we just had another comment come in on the side. If any of you want to put your comments in, insights that you've learned from the weekend, or questions for any of our speakers, feel free to put those in the side. And I love this comment. I don't know whose name it was, but their username is Max in Jersey. It says, "It was so great to fill up over the weekend, and then a vacation was needed from my soul vacation." It all filled out needs, like, you just need a time out to do almost normal or mundane things. And I love what Stephanie was just talking about, just like 10 minutes a day. Take in 10 minutes to set aside for practice, or for reminding yourself of what you learned from the workshops you went to on the weekend. That's where the true value is coming back to those things and letting yourself know that you touched by your learning. So thanks for being here, for watching. To welcome Michelle Morrison again and turn it over to her. We just all, as we jumped on, introduced ourselves and let everybody know, what did you offer during the weekend, Michelle? How can people now take it a little bit deeper? So we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks. Well, hi everyone. So over the weekend, I have to tell you, Elizabeth, I had so much fun. I just had, like, it was probably my favorite festival ever. I just had such a great time, and I absolutely loved the opportunities that I had to share with everybody. And so on Friday night, we did Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful, which is really tuning into and tapping into the authenticity of your soul and what is true for you, and allowing that beautiful self to come forward and let it shine, knowing that you have these beautiful characteristics and qualities that are so important and so valued and so needed in our world right now. And so we had a lot of laughs that night. And Saturday, it was all about your angels, spirit guides, and loved ones. And we brought forward messages from our angels and loved ones. That was really a fun workshop. I had so much fun doing that one, and it was really lively and full of energy, and I was buzzing afterwards for some time. And then on Sunday I did a smaller workshop. It was really nice, and we were talking about all the ways that you can bring yourself forward and be more in your power and living in the purpose of your life. And so, you know, to continue all of these things, to do all these things, and to have all these things continue for you is really what it's all about, and what I was really pushing for all weekend. And I think, you know, my number one thing is it's so much easier as I've gotten older, I guess, too, is being true to myself and being true to who I am in any given moment, and honoring what it is I want to do and where I want to go and how I want to spend my time. And so I like honoring, you know, where I'm, where my spirit is at any moment. And it's so important for me to have, that daily spiritual practice where you are doing the same things over and over, sometimes, or lots of times different things too, that really, really help you out. I've had a really long, busy day today, actually, and I am feeling a little bit on the tired side. So this is, come and say hi. This is my daily spiritual practice right here, right now. This is my Shelby, and I'm getting my Shelby cuddles in because she just makes everything better for me at the end of the day. And so when I sat down, she jumped right on my lap, and I'm like, well, you can hang out with us tonight too. But being with my animals is a huge part of what regenerates me and makes me feel really fulfilled and loving life. And so I have 2 cats, 2 dogs. I have another dog too, but she's in bed already. And so I also I also love to listen to music. I love to do creative things. So I've got lots of projects going on in my sewing room, and those are the things that actually, those things keep me more on track than some of the things that you would think keep you on track. Like, it's not the answers necessarily that you would expect. It's more about what you do to fulfill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I hope, anyway. That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of the simplicity of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Nice. It sounds like real gentle.
Sorry, Elizabeth, what was that?
We have one question, and that's, and you're all excited, and then you go home and nobody understands you. Nobody understands what you've just gone through. If they weren't there, your husband, and the crazy thing here, but how do we, and anybody can chime in, maybe just weigh something, this question a bit, how do you deal with when you've changed and you go back into your world and people don't seem to understand?
Well, I'll just jump in there. First of all, I'd be looking for new friends. I'm being a little bit facetious, but I think really it's not. I think when you're in alignment with who you are, like what Michelle was just saying, doing the things that make you feel like you, doing the thing, going into your sewing room, snuggling with your animals, hitting the slopes on your skis, going for a mountain bike, going to 4 Cats art and throwing some paint around on their walls or whatever it is you do there. Those are the things that make you feel in touch with who you are. So it doesn't matter if you go out go back to work on Monday morning and nobody knows what you've done, where you've been, and why you feel so good when they're not. That won't even, in my opinion, come into play a whole lot anymore, especially when you start practicing the art of being a spiritual human being. Everything external becomes less external, if that makes sense. So you're maybe surrounded by people that are being negative, or maybe not the most interesting person to be around after coming out of a weekend like what we just came through. But that's where you really have the opportunity to test yourself, to recognize that you just exuding from your pores what you experienced over the weekend, in whatever way you choose to do that, even if it's just being happy and beaming all day long, now you are literally being of service to those people around you without them even really recognizing what you're doing. You're just being you. You're staying in that moment of feeling peace and feeling relaxed and feeling in touch and feeling inspired, and you're testing yourself to not be influenced by your external circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think for years I would do workshops and go out to Quail Lodge to hang out with Jose Luis Herrera, and I'd come home and I couldn't relate to anything. At first, when I first began, I really had a hard time coming back, and I'm like, how come nobody else is like blowing in their stones and spitting everywhere and burning everything? And the more that I became okay with everything that I had learned and taken into my experience and made a part of who I am, the more everybody around me became okay with it as well. So even though they may not be walking around blowing into the stones and things like that, or talking about angels for that matter, or talking about their loved ones, the more that you're okay with the things that you've learned and the more that you make it part of your normal everyday experience, you're going to attract people around you that feel the same way, and also you're going to make it okay for other people. So more people should be talking about all of this stuff. People should be talking about well-being and meditation and taking care of your soul and being authentic. So if you're finding it hard to readjust a little bit, be more of yourself, bring more of that light forward, because you're finding a place in the world where it is needed. Yeah.
Yeah, something that I would like to add is that exactly that, is that when I would be coming back from something amazing like that, and just noticing that it was really important for me to trust that things were going to start to show up, like you were saying, Michelle, where you're just sort of attracting different people than that are more aligned with where you're at. And also, it's like it was really important to me when I was really starting to get on the path, feeling good about it, that I started to ask. I was like, I'm going into a mainstream job here at some point as a counselor. I said to Spirit, you're really going to have to come up with a good place, because I'm just being more authentically me right now. And I got to be able to talk about whether I've been to a sweat lodge or a Sundance or a ceremony somewhere. And so in my staff groups, they know who I am. And I can share these things that at one point in my life, I did feel like they were pretty woo-woo. And like Michelle, it's just like the world needs to hear us. And I am so excited about, being in my 60th decade, because it's just more and more of feeling comfortable with who I am and what I bring to the world. So all those things really just sort of come together as you just keep stepping out one step at a time. So yeah, that's my experience for sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Ladies, I agree with all of you. I think that what it comes down to is, like you're saying, just being yourself. And you never know who actually is paying attention to the different things that you're doing, or what you casually bring up in conversation in the lunchroom, or what you're talking to a friend about on the bus, or wherever it might be. Just opening up that conversation allows them to see a bit more into your world and what's important to you. And it also invites them in to bring up some questions they might have, or perhaps down the road, 6 months, 1 year's time, they're going to be more curious, and they know that you're already a safe place that they can go, because they trust that they can open up to you and at least start the conversation because you did so previously. So I suggest always putting it out there. And if the vibe doesn't feel right and you don't want to continue down that road, you don't want to continue that conversation, that's okay. Then you could just find someone else to continue it with. And just like everyone's saying, just continue to be yourself and be as authentic to yourself as you can. Because when you're standing in your power and when you're being who you are, people are drawn to you. It's like magnet. It's magic.
I agree. And I just feel the urge to add a little something to that. I think this is a great conversation, and because it's very real, and a lot of what I talk about is how to bring the two worlds together, because it's so easy to get caught up in the non-physical and the law of attraction and all of the great feeling thoughts. And it's another thing to implement those into your everyday life. And what we're talking about here is the majority of the people out there right now aren't walking around talking about, so what did Solomon have to say this weekend? And what spirit did you see behind that lady's back? This isn't normal everyday conversation when we go to work. So when I'm finding in my own workplace, I have a landscape company in Kamloops, and so I'm in the trades. It's a very, very different world. And what I found is that by not trying too hard to change the people around me, either I'm just seeing something differently or they are in fact changing. And I have people, my operations manager not too long ago walked into my office and he looked serious, and I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I gotta ask, what is this thing that you do? And I said, what thing exactly are you talking about? And he's like, he said, I'm just going to start calling you the master manifester. And I started to laugh, and I didn't even know if he knew the word manifestation, and I just started to laugh, and that opened up a conversation where, you know, I didn't give him all the goods, but I let him into my world a little bit, and now when I see him mimicking some of the things I'm doing, and he's talking differently, and he's talking about money differently, and about just everything, and it has a snowball effect within the entire company, because I'm coming into work as one of the owners. I'm a foundation I'm part of the foundation of this company, and what I'm bringing when I take my 10 minutes in the morning is the ability to see past all the seemingly flaws that somebody might have, because they're constantly forgetting to lock a trailer, or they're doing this or doing that, and I find what they're good at. I find what they excel at, and through the amplification of acknowledging and working with that, I can then start integrating the idea of putting more effort into the things that don't come so easily to them. So you can really, a spiritual practice is an all-day practice. It's not the 10 minutes in the morning. It's not the 1 hour on Friday night when you go to yin class. It's every moment of every day, really allowing yourself to, what I would say, practice the spiritual arts, practice the art of being patient, practice the art of being understanding, of being empathetic, of being a good listener, of all these good feeling words, and it's through the practice of them every day that we begin to really refine them and see the results in our workplace and with our friends and with our family.
That's awesome. So in my workshops, we talked a lot about how your body shows up in stress in different areas of your life. And one of the ways was, big ways, in relationships. If you're having stress in relationships, either with someone in your family or a coworker, or even just someone that you saw at the store who they just rubbed you the wrong way with what they said, and really starting to take a moment to acknowledge how your body shows up in that experience. If you suddenly get really sweaty, or if your stomach starts to hurt, or if you have an upset stomach later that night, if you get a headache, all these different bodily ailments. And I would say that that's that beautiful opportunity to check in with yourself and have that little minute spiritual moment where you're connected to your entire being, and you can actually hear what it's saying to you.
I love what everybody's been saying about this, and I appreciate that for those of you who are watching, nobody has mentioned try to convert the people around you, or try to convince them, or try to teach them what you learned. That's not your job. Your job is just to be who you are, take care of yourself, focus on your own spiritual practice, listen to your body, and don't try to Stephanie was saying, and like Deanna was just saying, just live and be an example. You can do, and be really gentle with yourself.
Beautiful. With that being said, I'm going to be very gentle with myself and graciously excuse myself. I'm going to go have, Michelle, like I'm going to go have some snuggles with my puppy, because it's been a little while.
Yay!
For having me here. Thank you, Elizabeth, for putting this together and making this happen. It was fabulous.
Yes,
So
I
watching with us, and if you have comments or questions, you can leave them in the chat bar, and we are continuing on. So next question, or if anybody who's here with me has anything that they just want to jump around to, this is not exactly in a strict linear thing. So, but our next question is, how do we move forward with what we've learned? And each of us, and give some tips and ideas with how our viewers and our attendees who attended our workshops, next steps. How do you move forward? So whoever wants to chime in can chime in.
I think a great next step is to think about what resonated with you the most. What really hit your heart? What really opened you up? What really gave you those aha moments? And because, you know, if you come to the festival, there was so many different things to see and do, and, you know, so many things for your your eyes to play with. There was just great stuff everywhere you looked. And so what was it that struck you the most? What was it that touched you the most? Was it something somebody said? Was it something new that you learned about? And Spirit always tells me, because I do tend to have what I call spiritual ADD. I can absolutely get excited by a lot of different things and go in a lot of different directions. And so Spirit will say to me, you know, Michelle, focus on 3 things at one time, and that's it. Like, you know, just 3 things. So rather than having 10 things on the go and going in 10 different directions, you know, at most have no more than 3 that you're looking at and things that you're thinking about, and just kind of keep yourself in that direction of going where your heart is asking you to go. And so, you know, an example would be if you you went to a workshop that was on your health and well-being, and something about whatever was said in that workshop really struck home as something that you want to focus on and concentrate and improve in your life. Well, then do that. Go in that direction and take the steps that are going to help you with your health and well-being that really struck home to you, that really sounded like it was something that resonated. And then if there's one other thing that really resonated with you, that's awesome too. But I think that's a great way to go, is to follow your own, not necessarily what I tell people when they come and see me is I'll say a lot of different things. A lot of different stuff will come up. Take the things that really resonate with you and don't worry about the rest. Because every single person has a beautiful way of understanding and bringing forward their light. And if they didn't see it in their own special way, it wouldn't be as valuable as it is. So what I mean by that is your own understanding, your own way of being is the most powerful and beautiful thing that you can bring forward, not what somebody else tells you you should be doing. And so following your own heart is how a great way to move forward and a great next step. The point is, move forward. You know, take a step, do something, take a chance, try something new. Don't just take all of this stuff away and think, oh, that was great. You know, do something for yourself, take care of yourself, nurture yourself in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to jump in here. I'm going to actually be saying my goodbyes as well, and just really wanted to thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Stephanie and Michelle as well, and Deanna for having this tonight. Just really amazing. Excited that we're starting to work with technology, you know, in this way as well. So thank you for that. And really looking forward to watching this and the rest of it when you're done this evening. So I'm just heading off to square dancing. And so that's just one of my passionate ways to just keep having the fun. And I love it after work. And I'll share this as in terms of moving forward. It's like, you know, when you're in those places where, you know, you really do need to sort of rejuvenate yourself, maybe that is that more time when you're tired. I mean, I've just come off a long day at work, pretty intense kind of work. And it's something I love to do on Thursday evenings because you can't be thinking about anything else. It's that mindfulness place where if you speak to someone or your mind's too busy, you'll miss the call and you'll be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I love the music, and the people are all amazingly great people. So thank you very much. And I will watch this later. Bye for now.
Bye, Marilyn.
Bye. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Stephanie and Michelle, or dear, on that note.
Well, I'll just elaborate on both of those comments. I'm in full agreement with both of them. I just wanted to sort of take it a little bit farther, as I know if Michelle was speaking, she would as well. And I think the key here that we're talking about is tapping back into that feeling of goodness. So when you're at the festival, if you're in a situation that you just feel good, if you're standing in front of a vendor and you're looking at the beautiful items that they've made and put their heart and soul into, and you start envisioning, well, where did they, collect the stones from? You can feel yourself feeling good. Then you go to a workshop and you leave there and you're feeling excited and passionate. And that's the feeling of the experience. It's not so much the details and what the workshop was specifically about. It's just getting yourself back into that feeling state of wholeness, of tranquility, of peace, of serenity, of joy, of laughter. And we all have different ways of doing that. Some of us prefer to be on a snowboard. Some would rather be down on the beaches in Mexico. Some of us would choose to go square dancing. And the idea is to just honor ourselves enough that we are able to allow ourselves the time, the money, the energy to go and engage in the things that our heart is craving for, those good feeling moments. And I think the biggest lesson for us all is to take the time and to spend the money on ourselves that is required to feel good. And when we do, we then become less resentful to the people around us because we're feeling good. We don't feel that anyone's holding us back. We don't feel that somebody's saying, you can't go out on a Thursday night because we have chores to do, or whatever the case may be. We're going because it feels good. And then in turn, we're more prone to encourage the same in others. Go and do what you need to do tonight. I got this. I can handle the kids. I can handle the animals. And then tomorrow night, let's go do something that we can do together that makes us feel good. And it's really about getting into that feeling and living in that feeling as much as possible.
Well said,
Stephanie. I like that. If it existed once in your feeling state, you can access it again anytime.
Yeah. Very true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think sometimes
so nice. we have another thing that I was just thinking about is,
go ahead.
The delay. I was just going to say another thing I was thinking about was that all the people that offered workshops, or the businesses that you saw, or the practitioners that you went and got a healing treatment from, they're all here. Them again. So check out the websites of these amazing speakers. Like right here, we have Michelle Morris and Stephanie Banks. They have beautiful websites and they have events coming up. So you can dive even deeper with these amazing, incredible speakers by checking out their information and seeing what they have coming up. Like Michelle, you've got something coming up really soon, don't you?
I have a workshop coming up this weekend. Yeah, Angels and Spirit Guides, communicating with your angels and spirit guides, getting to know them by name so that you can literally call on your peeps and have instant access, with you all the time in terms of support, answers, clarity, every area of your life. It's so much fun. And my kids laugh at me sometimes because I'll be in the kitchen and, cooking, and I'll be talking. And when Kyle will say to me, my youngest son, he's like, were you talking to me or was that your people? Because he knows that, that I absolutely do talk to my angels and spirit guides. I didn't realize I was doing it so much aloud because it's usually something that I do inside. But anyway, I guess it's because I teach them to talk to theirs as well. It's just all part of our crazy household. And then I have another workshop coming up in November on mediumship. But I'm really excited to tell you that Stephanie and I are working together with Martin to bring together a workshop like we've never done before. And we're going to be doing that in November as well. And this is a result of coming together at the Wellness Festival, enjoying each other's company, seeing the synergy and the excitement and energy that we can create from working together. And So really excited to do this workshop presentation. We're just working on the details of it in the next few days, and I think we'll release it next week. Hey, Stephanie, like Monday kind of thing. Get it out there and, and let people see what it's all about. But yeah, super, super excited for this one coming up.
Yeah, we could probably tell them the name. Could we tell them the name or keep it a secret?
No, we can absolutely tell them the name. We're going to call it the Spirit of the Time Symposium. And so what people will be able to do is have an opportunity to come together to hear Martin speak. He has some really fantastic ideas and insights into what it means to be on the planet right now at this time. And, you know, we were talking about this. I had an event last night and we were talking about this. You know, we've never seen anything like this on the planet before. I mean, things are changing very, very quickly energetically. And, you know, a perfect example of this is looking down to our neighbors in the south. We've never seen anything like this before. We're seeing a lot of, you know, diversity and shifts and changes as, you know, energy kind of, it is moving towards goddess energy. And that is absolutely what's going to be rolling in 2017. You're going to see more of that balance divine feminine. And what is not in balance with that is going to struggle a little bit. So we want to be here to help support as much as we possibly can from our own perspectives in terms of how you can best be taking care of yourself in this energy, how you can help yourself to transition and change and live your best life. Even amongst sometimes seemingly chaotic energy. And so how you deal with that. Stephanie's going to be speaking and sharing her messages through Solomon and what Solomon has to say about all of these things. I'll be speaking as well and talking about how to work with your angels and spirit guides, and then also messages that angels and spirit guides have for the people who have come in terms of what they can do to support their energy and stay on top of things and take care of themselves in the best way possible. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I've had a hard time sleeping.
We're going to post. I'm going to post the details and the websites and stuff in the video below, and I'll also make sure that we send out a message to all of our community because they're going to want to know about that for sure. So it's so exciting to see what you guys have going on and coming up, and everybody in the community, all the speakers and businesses, stay in touch by checking out their websites, staying on the Interior Wellness Facebook page. We make posts about everything that's coming up in the community, so we'll be posting about Stephanie and Michelle's workshop for sure. So I think, and I'm so excited about your workshop. One of the best ways to stay inspired and stay in touch is to just keep doing things for yourself. So let's wrap up by maybe some final comments or words of inspiration or little boosts or tips from each of you.
Well, I guess I'll just say that keep the momentum going. And, you know, when Michelle and Martin and I met the other day, it was literally days after the Interior Wellness Festival, and we're still flying from the weekend, and so inspired by one another and by everyone that we had the opportunity to meet and greet and hug and share an experience with, that we thought about waiting until the new year, possibly February or March even, just because we're all so busy and we have things going on. But we decided, you know what, keep the momentum going, just keep it going. Let's keep the community together. Let's reunite in another spot, same people, same energy, and support each other, as Michelle said, in this time of change, because it is going to continue to get quite intense. But with the intensity and the chaoticness is an opportunity to really shift, like to catapult yourself into another state of awareness and living a conscious life and tapping into that creative power that we are. And the best way to do that, in my experience, is to stay connected, to stay in tune, to keep the momentum going, to gather, to be present with one another, and to support each other on this journey. So I'm super excited for this workshop. I'm super excited for next year's Interior Wellness. I'm super excited for all the things that are coming my way, and I'm just extremely grateful to be part of this community. So thank you.
Awesome. I think that's it's exactly what you said. It's keep the momentum going is huge. And you know, when I began on this pathway, I always say so many years ago, and then I kind of retract, and I'm like, oh, just a few days ago. I'm aging myself when I tell you how many years it is now. But it is that when you, you know, when I got on this pathway, I was so insatiably curious. I couldn't stop. I just wanted to hear as many people as I could hear, and participate in as many things as I could. And I just had so much fun doing that. It was such a fantastic time of exploration and learning in my life, and it has brought me absolutely to where I am today, without question. What I would say as any, you know, final words to everyone is be gentle with yourself. Absolutely. Be compassionate, of course, with the world, but be compassionate with yourself. And know that there are days when you're going to feel fatigued and tired. And there are days when you're going to feel cranky and frustrated and sometimes even unsure of yourself. And those are the moments that count the most in what you decide to do, how you decide to support yourself in those moments, because you're really you know, of course you've got people around you that are loving and caring, but you're the one who's there for you more than any other being on the planet. And so if you are gentle with yourself and understand that it's okay, that it is part of the path, that you are this energetic being trying to figure out this chaotically energetic world, that it is important for you to love and nurture yourself first and foremost, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel so blessed to have this time together, and to know that with our viewers, both live and in the future, who are going to be watching this, and just these, you're not alone. We're not alone in our experiences of excitement. We're not alone in our experiences of sometimes down, and we're not alone in our seeking for more inspiration and more connection. So that feels absolutely incredible to me, to know that we are in this together.
Together.
Grateful and really blessed, both for still being here, and thank you to Marilyn and Deanna also for having joined us earlier.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth.
We're going to wrap up. Yeah. But just another thank you and a goodbye from each of you, and we will sign off. So.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Michelle. It was always a pleasure. I enjoy these chats and these little get-togethers that we have. So thank you, and have a wonderful sleep, everyone. Thank you for your support this weekend, and we hope to see you in the future soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Again, so much fun to just get on and chat, and to be able to wrap up my day as well in a really nice, calm, peaceful way, because yeah, I'm absolutely off to bed. It's my pajamas on right after this. So absolutely have a beautiful sleep, very sweet dreams, and I look forward to connecting with you all again. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Night, night.
Thank you, and thank you again, everybody, for watching. Watch this again, share it with somebody that you think might also benefit, and stay connected with us through our community. And I'm so excited to see you again soon. Bye.